you guys have to bear with me. A little under the weather, but basically, it's been rumored that the IBF has ordered Kell Brook to defend his title against #1 contender Errol Spence, and I can't find it anywhere. But basically, Kell Brook hasn't defended his IBF title since March. Errol Spence is the #1 contender for that title, and Errol Spence has been somewhat getting the shaft a little bit because if I'm correct, wasn't the Chris Van Herden fight a IBF eliminator, or the Alejandro Barrera fight? Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, his last fight against Leonard Bundu was supposed to officially make him the #1 contender. So what I feel is going to happen is either Eddie Hearn and Kell Brook are going to hold on to that title, because what can happen is Errol Spence can still fight Konstantin Ponomarev, the top-ranked fighter, for that title, and Kell Brook be made the interim champion because he's injured. Now, the IBF is against multiple titles. They're against an interim championship. But in this case, when a fighter is injured, right? Go check out the IBF rules. When a fighter is injured, right? As long as the promotional company and the manager and the fighter agree, they can be made the interim champion. And therefore, when they come back, have to fight the winner of Errol Spence versus Konstantin Ponomarev, or if that's how you pronounce his name. I know I'm probably messing it up. By the way, I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe. All the links to my social media are right down below in the description box. So I look at it like this. I feel that Kell Brook should not get any ridicule, and there should be no shame in him dropping his title. Now, you can't say that he's afraid of Errol Spence because he fought Gennady Golovkin. What you can say is that if he fights Errol Spence, and of course Errol Spence would have to go over to the UK because Kell Brook is the champion, and also that's where the money's going to be at. He's going to take a huge pay cut and fight Errol Spence. It'll be a big fight, but nowhere near the money that he made for Gennady Golovkin. It's being rumored, it's being said from Eddie Hearn that HBO is interested in making Canelo versus Kell Brook. Remember, HBO is not the promoter of Canelo, but when you're signed to a network, they can pick and choose what fights they want to pick up. So, Kell Brook versus Canelo versus Kell Brook would be a very big fight to them, and of course, Canelo would get a whole lot of ridicule. But to get back to what I was saying, is Kell Brook's going to be out until at least May, because with the injury he has, it takes about 3 or 4 months to heal. And then since he's a boxer, who takes blows to the face, I'm sure they're going to give it some extra time. Now, I don't think that Eddie Hearn, would put him into a tough fight like that just yet. So basically, he's fought Golovkin in September, then fight Canelo in May, where he can get his eye really fucked up. Now, a lot of people feel that Kell Brook will be able to give Canelo some problems, but especially since the fact that we know he's got a solid chin. But the thing is, I feel that when Kell Brook comes back, he's going to come back at 154 pounds, and he's going to fight somebody in the top 15, the lower top 15, excuse me, the lower top 15 of either the IBF, the WBC, not the WBA because that leads up to Law. I don't think you want to go that route, or the WBL. So names that came to mind for me, names like Austin Trout, Vince Martirosyan, and for Kell Brook at 154 pounds, if you really think about it, those would be some good fights for him at 154 pounds as a full debut at 154. Now, of course, he's fought over the 147-pound limit many times in his career, but this will be a chapter of him pursuing a title at 154 pounds. So let's look at some names that's currently ranked in the top 15 at 154 pounds that that Kell Brook, when he comes back, he can possibly fight. Now, of course, you have the Charlos, you have Iris Lindy Lara, you have Demetrius Andrade. But remember, this is going to be a comeback fight at 154. So if you know Eddie Hearn, you know, and his promotional style, you got to think how he thinks. So I'm thinking Austin Trout, maybe. You know, maybe a Willie Nelson. You know, who else? A Ishe Smith. You know, a Michael Soro. A John Jackson. Hell, Antonio Margarita. You know, you dig me? You know, eye for an eye. Who said that? Somebody said it on my Facebook page, eye for an eye. You know, Alfredo Angulo is ranked at 154 pounds, but he's not, well, he's not ranked, but he's supposed to be a 154 pounder, but he fought at super middleweight, so I'm thinking he's at 160 right now. You know, you got fighters like Vinicius Martirosyan. You know, I don't think that when he comes back, he's going to fight guys like Miguel Cotto. And if I'm correct, the Miguel Cotto fight was in some talks to happen. I don't know what happened, but it didn't fall through. So when you have, like, you know, Demetrius Andrade, you know, who is going to be fighting Jack Hawkey for the WBA, you know, whatever that goddamn title is. The WBA is only supposed to have one title, you know, and I don't know what they're doing with that situation. So if he drops, you know, okay, let's say, for example, right, if he fights Errol Spence at 147 pounds and lose, right, it's not going to be fair to Errol Spence, because then, of course, at the post-fight interview and press conference, you know, he's going to say, well, you know, I said I went to 154 pounds. You know, I came to 147 and tell people I'm a warrior, you know. And they're going to talk about how he was weight drained. You know, he said many times that 147 pounds was tough for him. It's heavily rumored that he didn't fight Diego Chavez because he couldn't get down the weight in time. You know, and he was going to lose his belt on this. He's going to lose his belt on the scales. That's when they came up with the rib injury. So to fight, you know, at 147 pounds, you know, after fighting Golovkin at 160 and coming into the ring at about, he was huge, at about 180, maybe a little over 180, maybe. That's a big weight drop, you know. You know, that's a big weight drop, and I don't think it's healthy for him at this point in time in his career. You know, I don't think it's healthy. So, you know, I don't think that if he drops his title, it's not like a situation where Peter Quillen dropped his title, you know, because of promotional money reasons, whatever that situation was, you know, because of the Rock Nation and Al Heyman, whatever that situation was. Also, when Canelo dropped his title, you know. So, it really all depends on how you look at it, man. It really all depends on how you look at it. But if he comes back, it's likely definitely going to be at 154 pounds. He could hold on to that IBF title, you know, as long as he can. People are saying the IBF has ordered him to fight Errol Spence. I haven't seen, you know, anywhere where it officially says it. For example, if you go to the, you know, if you look up the news for it, I don't see it. When you go to the IBF website, you don't see it. When you go to the IBF Twitter page, you don't see it. And I just wonder, like, where did it come from? But don't get me wrong, it's going to happen. You know, it's going to happen. Yeah, I'm looking now. I don't see it. So, you know, I guess it's one of those fan-made rumors, I guess. I don't see it anywhere. But, yeah, if he vacates, you know, I think he really has a valid reason. It's like, you know, he's going to be killing himself to make that 147. And then if he lose, you know, they're not going to give Errol Spence his full credit because of the weight. I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe. All the links to my social media are right down below in the description box.